Hey, what's up guys? Today I'm going to be answering the questions from the Q&A. There were so many good questions, and like I said, I'm not going to be answering all of them, just the ones that got the most likes. I think this will still be long because I just tend to ramble, so in the description box below I'll put like a little roadmap of like the different questions and the times that you can go to if you just care about certain questions. And yeah, otherwise I will just dive right in. Okay, so the first question, or actually I just want to answer this question first because I think it's like a very good question, and I think that like both sides of my audience will actually give a shit about this because it combines veganism and capitalism. So the Finnish Bolshevik, this is pretty long, but he kind of starts by saying that he used to be very militant, like a militant vegan, which I think is like really fucking cool, by the way. But then started to pull back, and basically the question is just like, do things like going vegan or trying to live and consume more ecologically or ethically, do these actually make any meaningful difference under a capitalist system? And why did I become vegan in the first place? So this is a really, really awesome question, and this is why I plugged a Privileged Vegans video in my decoupling video talking about why veganism must be anti-capitalist now, because it's really important to highlight that, you know, like, no, changing consumption patterns under capitalism will not lead to, you know, a fully just or sustainable world. Like, even if you're not contributing to like the enslavement or torture or death of animals, you could or probably are still buying products, like vegan products, that were made under conditions with, you know, like terrible labor conditions, like slave labor, or even bad environmental practices, like you don't really know. Even things that are produced in like slightly better conditions, which I would think most things are not, like labor is still exploited, so like basically 95% of what we're consuming under capitalism is like ethically questionable at best. So, you know, I've said before in previous videos, like trying to consume our way out of crises, environmental or social crises, is just hopelessly self-defeating. Having said that, I would really, really urge everyone to watch my climate change video if you haven't already, to see the dire situation we're in and how greatly impactful a vegan diet can be. I won't repeat all of the stats that I have listed there, but reducing meat and animal consumption is probably the biggest impact you can have environmentally, only through individual consumption choices. Like the land space needed in particular is just wildly unsustainable. 50% of the land space in the US is going to animal agriculture and only 1% going to crops that people actually eat. Fresh water usage is off the fucking charts, and this is a time when fresh water is going to start becoming an issue in coming years. But most importantly, the latent warming of all the greenhouse gases that we've already pumped up there is right now, like we're on track to get to like a 6-degree at least warming by 2100, and so like that is just like inhospitable to human life. Like we're at a very, very dire situation where we don't know if we've already triggered like a runaway climate effect where the climate is just gonna keep snowballing out of our control. So even if there was like a worldwide revolution right now and workers own the means of production and meat and animal products are being produced more based on need and not just based on exchange value, still to feed the population of whatever we're at now, we would need to follow that factory model, which is just crazy unsustainable. And even if people wanted to move towards more of like an open pasture, like kind of like local production, like people would still need to radically reduce their meat consumption, because we just don't, like that takes like a million more times of the land space, and just it's completely unsustainable from a land space perspective. So even if there was a revolution right now, I would still say, like, guys, the climate is still like, we're still at that point where we're almost completely just screwed, like we can't come back from that, right? So I would still advocate people to reduce their meat consumption and reduce their animal product consumption. So for me, this should be like a multi-pronged attack, right? Like, of course, attack capitalism, of course, get out there and raise class consciousness, and, you know, but I mean, realistically, the revolution is not, I don't see it ready to be happening like very soon. And so like we need to still have a planet to live on for, you know, the revolution to actually bring forth like a fruitful future for us to live in, right? Like, so I still think that's important, and I still would raise awareness about like the impact that going vegan can have for the planet. And myself, like for environmental reasons is why I went vegetarian in the first place, but I didn't actually go vegan until I had ran into some health problems that I've talked about before. So I went vegan for health, and you can check out these documentaries to learn more about meat eating and health. And since going vegan, I've learned a lot more about what actually goes on in the industry, and you can check out Earthlings. It's free to watch online. Or below I'm gonna link 2 very short YouTube videos. One's called From Farm to Fridge, and it's only 12 minutes, and one's called Dairy is Fucking Scary, and it is only 5 minutes. So check it out. Like, yes, the exploitation of labor is egregious, especially like the slave-like conditions that some people are working under today, but like I can't even put to words like what's going on in that industry. And yeah, like ethically, even if there was a revolution today, like I would never ever pay someone again to do that for me. Should anarcho-capitalism be classified as a mental disorder in future editions of the DSM? Well, there's no maybe about it. What caused you to move towards leftism? So like growing up, I was kind of one of those like weird kids who like thought about things way too much and was just like really like estranged from their peers. Like everyone was into like Ninja Turtles and Pokemon, and you know, so was I, but I was also just looking around and being like, I just couldn't understand why we organize society the way that we do. Like I was really just like, I just couldn't grasp it. I was like, all we need is food, shelter, water, and lovin'. And why the fuck? Like, why do we have like all of this, all the rest, like all these like bullshit jobs, all these like structures that just destroy the environment? Like I would look around at like homelessness and, you know, poverty in the third world and just be like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, we don't have to do any of this. So in my like early teens, I kind of like put together that it's like capitalism, it just, that doesn't make sense, you know? And then again, like all my friends are reading like 17 magazine, and I was reading like Adbusters. So in university, I switched into environmental anthropology from chemistry, and I started to learn about like just like the whole history of like colonialism, capitalism, imperialism, and I was just like, and then I got really obsessed like learning about all these like conservation and development programs that would just basically try to like fight capitalism in the world with more capitalism, and I was just like, everyone needs to know about this. So I decided to go do my master's, and in my first year we had like one course where we just like basically read Capital Volume 1. That was like the whole course, and I was just like whoa, transformation complete. So Red Star's mom is from my hometown. Pretty cool. And he asks which place did I like the most that I traveled. Definitely Thailand, like hands down Thailand, because I did my master's research there, and also I went back for my PhD, and in my master's I spent like most of the time living in Karen like hill tribe village in Doi Inthan National Park, and it was just fucking magical. And yeah, I've been back so many times now that it's my jam. Okay, what leftist philosophers have made the largest impact in your life? So I don't think all these people are philosophers, but just like thinkers or academics or whatever. So first of all, like obviously Marx. I'm a geographer, so also obviously David Harvey. For anyone who doesn't know, he is a Marxist geographer. And recently I've gotten very into an anarchist geographer, Simon Springer, because he is just like fucking bomb, and he's vegan too, which I think is really cool. I also really dug Fanon, The Wretched of the Earth, and related to that was Glenn Coldhart's Red Skin, White Masks. It is amazing. It is such a good book. I'm actually gonna do a video like about this pretty soon, but he looks at colonial capitalist exploitation of First Nations in Canada, and yeah, it was really good. I would also say Foucault, like the governmentality stuff and like his stuff on like neoliberal governmentality and like the birth of biopolitics. I think some people on the left would say like, oh, it's incompatible, like Foucault and Marx, but I would totally disagree. Actually, one of my favorite or one of the most influential thinkers to me was Tanya Lee, because I'm in like conservation and development, and her book, The Will to Improve, her framework combined Marx, Gramsci, and Foucault really productively, and I've actually combined them in my own work, looking at like, you know, the material aspects of neoliberalism and capitalism, and then also the like governmentalizing processes that go along with that. And then like more contemporary like neoliberal conservation guys like Rob Fletcher and stuff. I noticed that on leftist YouTube, like a lot of people focus on just like the classics and like the typical people that you always hear about. So I think maybe on my channel I'll start talking about like some of the more like contemporary like Marxist and anarchist scholars, and like what they're talking about, the problems they're trying to tackle, and how they're thinking about like today's economy, today's working class, because I think that's interesting. Anyway, are you in any political organizations? If you are, what is it called? If you aren't, what organizations do you support and why? Sorry, my foot is asleep. I have the most unprofessional setup here. Like, I just have like my camera on these books and I'm sitting like backwards on a couch. It hurts really bad. Anyway, so I'm not really in any organizations, but like I support a lot. I guess like the major parties in Canada, like I support the NDP, which is like the Workers' Party, and Green through like donations and stuff. Mostly just like when they're trying to like run campaigns or like protest things that like the Liberals and the Conservatives are doing. I also go out to a lot of protests that are organized by like kind of grassroots organizations, and like Socialist Action Canada, and recently at a protest I ran into IMT Toronto, so I'm gonna kind of look them up and see what's going on. But I haven't been really active in like organizing myself, which is something that I would like to change. I kind of have spent like most of my time just in academia, but I think it's also useful because, like, you know, I teach so many classes, I give so many lectures, like, I guess I'm kind of focusing my efforts on, like, trying to spread class consciousness and awareness of different issues. But I understand that, you know, political organizing is important, so I should probably get more involved. What are your thoughts on anarcho-syndicalism? I don't actually know that much about anarcho-syndicalist, like, theory. I mean, like, I have, like, you know, a cursory understanding of what they're all about. Backo suggested that I read Rudolf Rocker's book, so I am going to do that, and then I will get back to you. Who is your favorite political figure? I don't know, I mean, there's been like so many that have inspired me over the years. You know, the civil rights movement leaders all really inspired me, and like as a woman I thought that Angela Davis was like really fucking cool. When I was younger, it was definitely Che Guevara, because my family would go to Cuba, like we went to Cuba every year for Christmas. It was like a recurring thing. But yeah, I don't know, right now I'm liking this guy. The person who asked this obviously supports Zapatistas, and yeah, like learning about them in school, I was like super inspired by the Zapatista movement and also by Rojava. I know those aren't figures, but yeah, I mean, there's so many inspirational movements and people. I don't think I could say that there's one that's my favorite. So I don't want to make this too long. Like, there are some people who asked some like really good questions that I'm going to just make full videos of later on. So the vegan anarchist asks about identity politics and intersectionality. Socialism or barbarism asked about violence, whether it's necessary for revolution. And For Philosophy asked why Buddhism. So I have like a lot to say about those things, so I'll just make other videos talking about those things. And I will conclude with the best leftist YouTubers. So there's honestly so many good ones. I don't have one single favorite, so I'm just gonna like shout a bunch of people. This is especially like geared towards people who aren't already in leftist YouTube and who are interested. So this is in no particular order, but actually I'm gonna start with like just production value, like best production value, and like just hilarious, like fucking awesome everything is ContraPoints. I very recently discovered him, and then I've just binged watched all of his videos. They are so funny, they're so brilliant. He's the fucking bomb. I also like, similarly, like production value and just general hilarity, I do like H Bomber Guy. His stuff is pretty funny. Also really good production value and just generally good videos and good content is Bad Mouse. He is anarchist, I believe. Another anarchist that I watch and that I respect is Anarcho-Pack. I think my intersectional vegan audience will definitely be into what he's saying. So Marxists, Zexazy is really awesome. He is like non-sectarian and I find him really entertaining. He has a lot of like fun stuff. Finnish Bolshevik is, I think, like, knows his shit. Like, he is someone that, like, you know when you follow somebody and you maybe just watch like one or two of their most recent videos and then like whatever, that's it, you just, you know, you just go forward from there. Like him, I have like dove deep into his catalog because he has like years of like really detailed theory and his accent is very good. It's a very good accent. It makes you feel like this person knows what they're talking about. Pro-socialism also has a great accent. Actually everyone, like Zexazy, Bad Mouse, and Argoback, all of them have like really great accents. Listening to myself, like, after I hear them speak, it's just like but anyway, what I love about pro-socialism is that he makes like very short, concise, but like just very easily digestible and understandable videos. So like if you're new to leftism and you just want to hear like things broken down very well and like just very concisely, I would definitely recommend checking his stuff out. Red Star Videos is also good. I think there are like 3 guys part of that from Canada and the US, and they have some good videos on just like the different tendencies, which is something that like I'm learning about now. And so I found those really useful. I'm also gonna plug A Privileged Vegan again. She is super awesome, intersectional, anti-capitalist vegan. I just think she is very well-spoken. She does great research. She has great, you know, intentions for the world. And yeah, I really like her. I like Democratic Socialists content, and obviously he's Democratic Socialist, so that's like a different perspective for people who are wanting to learn about the left. So thanks for all the questions and the subs. I think I'm at like 1.1k subs now already, so like welcome to everyone new, and I guess that's it for today, and I'll see you in another video.